Hello, friends, colleagues, clients, and trespassers. Welcome to Coach2Coach, the show where the world of coaching opens up to you, our listeners. I'm Laurie Schloff, executive communication coach over too many decades. Coach2Coach aims to inform, teach, entertain, provoke, amuse, and invite you to engage, all in a 15-minute time period. We coaches can do it all. Each show features a coach supreme, someone who is changing the world, one coachee at a time. And here we go, Coach2Coach to you. Today, we're going to talk about how you can be a virtual virtuoso. Are you looking great online? Are you showing your best self when you lead a meeting? What is your small square of real estate saying when you're a participant at a meeting? Whether you need the basics, a refresher, or want to master the tools and tricks of a virtual master, we are fortunate to have a master virtual virtuoso and coach, and my personal friend and my virtual coach, Claudio Sennhauser. Did I pronounce your name right, Claudio?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for having me, Laurie. This is such a pleasure to be in your show here and talking about my favorite topic, on-screen
Absolutely.
presence.
And so Claudio's become a pal. He has a group called, what's it called? Online Presenters. I've been a member, but I'm forgetting the name.
Yes. You are actually a founding member. Without you, this thing wouldn't
Whoa!
even exist.
Wow.
Exactly. Yes.
So I want to start with the sort of the big picture.
Yeah.
Claudio, why does our online presence matter so much?
All right. So, uh, I'm fond of saying that your on-screen presence is the new business attire. And I can bring this up like this again, right? Because the rules really have changed. Your on-screen presence
Love it.
has become the new business attire. And just like a really stellar outfit gives you that extra boost of confidence when you have to speak in public, so does the knowledge that you look good, you sound good, and you are in control of your tech. It just gives you that extra boost of confidence on one side, and on the other side, it makes you highly memorable. You wouldn't believe how often people come to me after a Zoom meeting, and I was just participating in the meeting, but they're sending me direct messages and say, "How do you do that? How do you bring up things like this
Yeah,
on the
exactly. It's
screen?"
magic.
Right. For them, this is really a
Oh
mind-blowing
my goodness.
experience.
Oh my
All
goodness.
right.
Claudio,
So
it's so much fun.
imagine you are in a meeting like this, right? And you just hit the keyword. It's fun. We dread these Zoom and team meetings and yet another one here. But what if we would do things like what I'm just doing here right now? It would add so much more fun and, as a result, make those meetings more effective.
I love it. And you're such a good teacher too, because you really sort of analyze what someone might need. And you're also a presentation coach like me, which is great. And I've said this to you many times. The truth is, I am still seeing people whose virtual presence, forget doing great things. It's like a bell curve. Like you're great. There's some people who are fine. Maybe I'm in that
Yeah.
category. And then other
Yeah.
people, I'm telling you, Claudio, I'm still seeing it. What are the mistakes? If you had to say several mistakes you see
Yeah.
frequently, what would you
Yeah.
say?
Well, let's start with the first one, which is lighting, right? I see people that don't pay any attention to the light. And what that can cause is if there's too much light behind you, right? That you are kind of like only a silhouette. You're not really popping out on the screen. So to solve this one, it's very, very easy. Simply put some light in front of you, right? And it doesn't have to be an expensive kind of, streamer lighting solution. It can be as simple as two desk lights, left and right, angled at you, in front of you, coming at you from both sides. So light is
Like,
a very, very important element of your on-screen presence. The other one, and this is really something, I even made an overlay for this to teach people to frame themselves properly. And what I mean by that is to adhere to the rule of thirds. So I just put a grid on top of me. If you are a photographer or anybody who studied visual design, you are very familiar with this. And you typically want to have the key components on a third line. So I very, very often see people that are framed too low.
yes,
They
yes.
are somewhere like this in their meeting, and they're leaving a lot of
Goodbye.
space right up there. Exactly. And if you frame yourself properly, if you put the camera right at eye level in front of you, at eye level, so it's really coming at you, it's not looking up or down, because this is another problem, right? If your camera is too low, you're looking down on the camera. For your viewers, it looks like you're looking down on them. If
Got
your
it.
camera is on the other side, right, and all of a sudden you're seeing too much of your ceiling, or the floor, then it looks like you're in this submissive position. So you want to have the camera right in front of you, and then position it so that you get your eyes roughly at that top third line. And that gives you the impression that you're sitting across from somebody at a table, and you can have a much, much more natural conversation with them.
Yeah. You're making me think, because so many people sort of are, I don't know whether scared to appear or turn on their camera, but I feel like some of the things you teach, are a proponent of, can really add to someone's confidence if they know they look good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is really what it's all about, right? You have been around, you position yourself as too many decades. I think you are absolutely one of the rock stars in our field here, right? Because you bring all of that experience with you. And so when I say to you, it's all about emotions, you immediately get it, right? But presenting and public speaking really is all about emotions. On one side, you want to be able to influence and impact the emotions of your audience. And on the other side, you want to make sure that you yourself, you're feeling at your absolute best, because emotions are contagious. And if you are going into a
Yes.
meeting and you're not feeling all that great and your energy is just not there, you won't be able to get your message into the hearts of
Yes,
people.
yes. Oh no, you're so right. And so there's so many advantages of focusing on this. Claudio, I love your demos. I don't know, do you have any more up your sleeve?
Well, I was just randomly pushing button here on my Stream Deck. This is a little device that I'm using here. And well, I can show you another thing that I'm frequently doing, and that is to bring in a second camera. For example, right now I'm talking about the Stream Deck, so I can just zoom in on the stream, or even,
It's
yeah,
okay to
well,
have
that's
an
the
oops.
demo
See, he
effect.
deals with
That's the demo
oopses very
effect,
well.
but there we have the Stream Deck, right? This is what I'm using to shift scenes, to basically, do these things like bring up this grid here, so I don't have to use my mouse or anything like that. And what I very, very often do is I coach people for timed speeches. And so I'm very, very fond of bringing up a timer right?
Yeah.
And it's all very, very elegantly done, non-obtrusive. So these are the kind of things that I do all the time. That's why my Stream Deck is set up like this. Another thing that I'm very fond of, because I do not share screens in Zoom or Teams, right? If you think about it, when you share your slides in Zoom, you disappear in the corner. You take about 5% of the screen real estate, and your slides are taking over 80% of the screen real estate, right? So what I'm doing is I'm showing slides rather than sharing them. I bring them up on the screen right next to
I
me. And
love
now I
it.
can, exactly. And so now I can go through my slides. This is a regular PowerPoint deck, or in this case, it's a Keynote deck. But these are the kind of slides that I'm using when I'm presenting online. So instead of screen share, there are many, many things that you can now do, including, for example, using PowerPoint's Cameo feature to put your webcam right onto your slide. So if you still share slides, you're still not just in the corner. Now you're part of the slide that you are sharing.
Yes, and you're teaching me that, which is good.
Yes.
And Claudio and I have talked a lot about that. You know, you can put me in a room with 5 CEOs, but teach me something technically, and I get very anxious. So he's starting. You're figuring out what's going to be fun and easy for someone who has some anxiety about it to do. And some of our listeners may feel the same way. They want to start slowly, and you're a great person to work with that way.
Thank you, and you're absolutely right that what I'm showing you right now. This is not for everybody, because there is a learning curve that you need to go through to make it look seamless and easy. And I'm using a software called Ecamm Live. There are other tools. There is OBS Studio, which is absolutely free, and it's great. So you can start experimenting with this stuff. You have taken a look at it. You have taken a look at Ecamm, Laurie, and both of these solutions for you were, just not
more than I wanted,
not the right thing, more than you wanted, and the learning curve is too steep. So the key is always to ask yourself, what exactly do I want to accomplish in my online meetings, right? Because there are so many different solutions and approaches that you can take. The good news is still today, and we've been in these online meetings now for what, 3 years already, right? And still today, by doing just a few things a little bit differently, you can differentiate yourself from anybody else. You can really set yourself apart in online meetings.
Absolutely. Well, this was amazing. I'm always amazed by you. Give me a couple of pretty things. I like all sorts of things falling from the sky or sounds.
Well, I do use a range of these overlays that you saw before, like the reaction overlay with the mind blown, or if I really love
see, I don't
something.
know. I'm just a kid at heart. I just love it.
Right.
I said love.
And then one that I'm using a lot in early sessions with my clients is usually this one, because I am so confused sometimes because they're getting lost in their features and so on. So these are the kind of things that you can have a lot of fun. And then if you really
want to top it, well, you can even change your voice a little bit so that all of a sudden you sound a little bit funnier than before.
Too funny. You certainly got my attention. So usually, as we close, I ask my guest for something memorable. And you said something memorable at the beginning of the show. And it was so good about what online presence is. Say it again.
On-screen presence is your new business attire. And just like an attire, right? You have so many choices. You can go off the rack, meaning use your built-in camera, use your built-in microphone, and just go with what you have. And that's okay, because these built-in things become better and better and better anyways, right? But that's one level. The other level would be to go for a designer outfit, some
Gucci.
Armani suit or a
Yeah.
Chanel dress, something like that, right? And it already gives you more confidence. And in our world, that would be to upgrade your camera a little bit, right? To use maybe a webcam or perhaps even your smartphone as a webcam, to get an external microphone to make sure your sound is really up there as well. And then the third level, that would be a custom tailored suit, right? Where you really, really go all in. And in our world, that would equate to using a DSLR camera, for example, a semi-professional microphone, and of course, tools like I'm doing, like Ecamm or OBS Studio.
Beautiful. This is so great. I can see you get so much joy out of it. And I'm so delighted that you are my virtuoso coach for the virtual world. So I want to say to everybody, Claudio and all the coaches in the world can help our talents show. So you too can get to the next level of virtual virtuosity. So Claudio, thank you so much. And everybody, keep on coaching. Bye for now.
Thank you, Laurie. Bye-bye.